Oh, can I make this the first wee hello properly? Don't be deceived by what you're seeing behind us with the cloud. We're expecting an absolute storming of a night ahead. You know, clear skies, amazing morning. But what's more importantly right now is what's on the ground here. It's the first wee hint of winter. So we're going to talk about winter, we're going to talk about what's in the bags. Also got a new face on the channel for us to talk about and introduce properly. But I just want to give a wee quick welcome before we get going. So we'll finish off with that, and I can tell you I'm not going to do any more walking footage, because this is a mountain that's been on the channel before in nice sunny weather, so you don't need to see what's coming up. But everything in the bags, there's a few new bits to show you as well. So we'll join you later on, and let's get the tent ups. Right, so we both up pitches. Again, I'll talk about it on way, and I'm going to talk about the tent properly. It is a new tent for me tonight, but I'll talk about it once it's up. I don't want to talk while I'm doing it, because it is the first time for me properly pitching, so I'd rather just get it up. I've got a ground mat that I brought with me, a hike man one that's got to go under it, and then I've got to put my tent up, and I'll explain properly when I'm up. Just I feel like if I was to putting it up and try and talk to you and I'm making a ton of mistakes, I'd rather just do it now, because it is cold. You know, we're talking, it's close to minus right now, and we don't want to be faffing too much. So yeah, what I'll do is I'll chuck a time lapse on for it, so you can see me working away now, and then once it's up I can introduce the tent, and then of course we've got to introduce my man here, and we'll get around his gear and all, because that's always the best part of these videos, isn't it? Is checking out other folks' gear. That's what we're all about, innit? The gear. Right, in a bit. Yeah. So in this video, I do actually want to talk about kit, about the kind of kit I've packed with you tonight, the kind of kit that I've maybe changed over because of the conditions, you know, the light stuff, and just go over a wee bit of thoughts on that. Just a wee pillow. I've got a second pillow, 1 and 2. And yeah, maybe there's 1 or 2 bits and pieces that I've packed that you maybe say is a bit overkill, particularly layers. But I always go down the line of you're better having a bit more than you need than be stuck in the mountain when the temperatures drop. Actually, I still need to talk about this as well, because this is a brand new structure, a new tent, so we'll talk about that as well. And then we'll go into juicy down there in a wee bit. But yeah, definitely going to go over the kit, the differences I've got in this camp, and then we'll see in the morning if there's anything that maybe I need to change over as well. Maybe sleep mat, for example, or the sleep system might need to be changed. But we'll talk about that in the morning once I've had a sleep. Just did my first proper bit to camera for a while. Whilst everything's all set up inside the Kuiu Storm Star, I'll talk a bit more about specs and it maybe on its own separate video. This is a first look, first impressions for me, and first impressions, I have to be brutally honest, and it was nowhere near as comfortable to get up and going as my Vern 1. You know, just little details, like everyone's mentioned these before, these big clips, but they were a bit of a ball ache to get on. But I'm not bothered with that, because that was I've expected. But it's little things like the door just doesn't quite open and stay open like you'd want it to stay open. Whereas the Vern one was really simple. But I'm going to come back to setups later on when it gets dark. I can do that in the tent. But let's walk down and let's do a wee meet and greet of my fellow camper of the night. And it is none other than Gaz the Explorer.
Hello everyone.
There he is.
Right.
Now if you follow Gaz, you'll know that he has an absolute abundance of tents to go with. And he's gone with his tunnel tent tonight. The Fial Raven, light Abisco too, is it? Light Abisco?
Abisco light.
Abisco light too. Stunner of a tent. It's one of the ones I haven't actually seen in the flesh before. Obviously when I'm out with Stephen a lot, he's always this Hillenberg, or he has one of them wee. But yeah. Here's the door. Well, let me show you there. This is easy. There it is. Yeah, he's got the zip down there. Nice big vestibule. We'll get a proper look at setups. But the snow's just come on. It's quite nice, isn't it? So yeah, we're just gonna, like I say, just having a wee chat in the snow. Like I say, I mentioned it earlier on, but we are expecting this to be clear in about 4ish. So pretty much as the sun goes down, and then we get a clear night and a clear morning. But yeah, good first chance to test out my tent. And like I say, I'll go over different options that I've popped for me. I mean, maybe talk about what Gary's got for his wee bit in a bit. Anyway, enough of that rubbish. Talk to you in a little bit. Still a wee bit of daylight left, but just come in here and we're both getting a wee warm up. I've gone for a chicken soup. Lovely. Yeah. So, setup wise, for me, I've gone from a full Big Agnes setup that you see me as I was setting up. So it's the Big Agnes Rapid SL, the extra wide, the extra long mat. 4.7R I think it is, R value, and then the Big Agnes Lost Ranger 3-in-1 sleep setup that I've had most of the summer. We'll see how that copes tonight. I've also got a little Sea Summit liner that I've used last winter, so we'll see if that kind of balances out. Bag wise, yeah, there's the Rook 65 Osprey. I'll swap back to that one, just gives me a bit more room, takes a bit more weight as well. And obviously, as I mentioned, the Kuiu Storm Star, the idea behind this is a bit more room. As you see, you can move a bit more about it, so this suits better for a 2-person winter camp. So something I've been after for a while is to make sure I've got a comfortable 2-person tent for me and Caitlin can get out in winter camps, and this was fitting the bill. On a single person level though, I will say maybe I need to get a couple of nights in it and see, but just a few little fiddly things I'll talk about tomorrow if I can't get my finger on it, but not quite as instantly out the bag, user friendly is what I felt the Vern has been. And then one of the biggest things that I've changed now that is getting to winter is the foil blanket that's kind of hanging off the back of the bag when you see it. That kind of always goes in there. And then just extra layers, you know, thermals and stuff are in here now. And yeah, so it's my big changes so far. Yeah, maybe get used to how this tent feels for a bit. And there's another wee thing that I stick into my winter camp is my wee heater. So yeah, first time putting that on for this winter. I just when I checked the temperature, the inside temperature was just sitting at 1 degree. So I'm getting this out and checking on my sky watch, and right now, after a couple of minutes of it being on, it's sitting at 4 degrees. So it'll just keep rising. Hopefully get to about maybe 8 or 9. That'll feel really quite cozy, and then I'll turn it off and then put it back on again as I get closer to bedtime as well. I was just taking a wee nip off because I was in and out the door a bit doing things. Gaz has been doing the same actually. Yeah, just waiting for the clouds and the snow to kind of drift off, which is expected somewhere between 5 and 6. So like I say, it will be after the sun's down. I think the sun is actually down now from it. Should be about right, yeah. So we missed sunset, but sunrise, fingers crossed we get that. Yeah.
22 max.
Yeah.
No, it's just just
Clouds been coming and going, so we both come in to get some food, and I'm going to go for starter tonight. Chop spam. Yeah. Chop that up in wee slices and put them on my pan. And then for main, I'm going with mash, and then I've got a rump steak in here and all. It's all seasoned up, ready to go. Yeah, so that's the plan anyway. I need a bit of warming up. Let's say it's cold out there. Just about to have myself a wee hot chocolate, and then get cosy for the night. Get all the head torch and that off, and getting in my bed gear. Me and Gaz has been outside the last couple of hours, chatting, watching a bit of the stars. I've got a time lapse on now, so in a wee second I'll put that on as a bit of an overnight montage. Hopefully, put some good stuff there. Anyway, hope you've been watching so far. Hope you're enjoying the video. And like I say, we hope we'll get something better to show you in the morning. Fingers crossed. Right, good night everybody. Good morning. It's a cold one. I couldn't tell you exactly what the temperature is right now, but I know during the night it was reading about -8, -10 outside. Like with the wind chill anyway, you know. I think it's going to sit at -4. In here I think it dropped below minus a couple of wee spells. I just feel it. I think this is that was definitely the limit for this Big Agnes 3-in-1 Wash Ranger. It says -9 for extreme when you put it all together, but it should be fine. But when it gets to those kind of temperatures, you're generally getting more condensation because you're then in a winter tent, and I think it was dampness on the top layer that was just meaning the top layer was ineffective. So I ended up put some down layers on, which I would normally do. Normally I would sleep pretty much just in my thermals at best, you know. So yeah, next one will be the full winter stay up for me. Anyway, coffee's on the go, and then once you've had the coffee, you know, get some views. I'll give you a couple overlays of what I've just seen when I went up to change the camera over, but we've got a wee time lapse going, and then I was hoping to get the drone up, but I fear about the wind's still sitting in the 20s, pretty much consistent, you know. We've been up. Gorgeous morning, isn't it? Very cold. I think, you know, I'm in a wee bit of a sheltered spot here. This is where me and Gary were sat last night, or Gaz sat last night. I know he likes Gaz, but I'm not used to having that many Garys in my life, you know. So yeah, I'll show you some of the views, show you what we've got while we've got them. They're kind of coming and going. Or let's call the views today fleeting, as you know, the wind is still pulling a lot of cloud with it, you know. I'm going to hope that. Alright, I've not done my boots up. This is going to be a bit of a fail. We've had a bit more snow overnight as well, which, on that note, I'll be putting on some wee spikes in my boots before we get down, just because we know the climb up yesterday, that had a wee bit of a layer of water on it, which will then, by this morning, should have turned into a little bit of ice, just, you know, your glass type. So, well, bit of protection for that. And you're probably hearing it already, how the coming up to the summit just changes the wind there. So we were pitched at, let me turn around, sorry. So we were pitched at 10:27, up thereabouts. Can't quite remember what they. Oh, wow, that is actually harder than I thought it was. So behind me, in case I haven't already mentioned it, I don't think I have, we've got Ben Lawlers and Ben Glass in the distance. We've got the Glenloyne Horseshoe. Mountains for days, mountains for days. All the way up to Ben Nevis eventually. But that's going to be about 25 I'm getting hit with there. So I'm not going to risk the drone, as I mentioned in the tent. Sun's up. I'll take you back down. You just see the difference, and when you're going looking for a place to camp on a summit, the difference between just finding that which direction the wind's coming from, being aware of it, recognising it so you're not being stupid, and then pitching yourself up so you give yourself a little bit more peace. And you feel the difference straight away, just that little change in coming off the summit. You hear that there, but I can't see the snow is. I tried making a snowball earlier on. There's not enough moisture in it there for it. It's a bit of a shame, because I was getting to punt Gary's tent a couple of Gaz's tent. Got a couple of snowballs. But nah, they were just like, it's that powdery, it's just falling apart now. So again, Caitlin suggested I should make a snowman, which again, as you probably remember a couple of years ago, me and her did on a Glencoe camp. But yeah, I am back where I started, so you can see how close we were at the summit as well, and you know, mountains over there, Ben Forlick and Stuka Croyne. The sun's looking amazing now. I'm going to put this away because I want to get some photos. I'll just put this down. So I'm going to go with guy ropes first with this, as I'm slowly taking it some tension all the way. Just being careful that I leave the four corners in. Thankfully it's kind of temperature wise not too bad right now for being able to do it with my gloves, but I've got a set of heated gloves ready to go for when, you know, the inevitably happens where the snow just bites the fingers a wee bit. I'm going down the idea that when I get to here that I'm going to take off these first and leave these, because these kind of slide with the tent, so it'll take the tension off and then I'll be able to take them off. I don't think you take them off first, but that's going to be my, yeah, is that? Yeah, those little clips here, see them? I didn't really mention them last night much, or you know, I was just in it in a time lapse, but one of the biggest feedbacks people give about the Kuiu Storm Star is that those clips are an absolute nightmare, and all the kind of comments people have had has been they wonder what it'll be like in the winter. So I'm your man to find out. I'll report back in a couple of minutes. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to just get the rest of this put away now. I'm not faffing. I'm not getting too cold. doing all. Yours? Just before I leave, I'll give you just a quick panel where we're at. So the first wee peak ahead of us there, that's Meall Guard, you know, not at Munro, but behind it you'll see the very, very poignant peaks of Moffat to Winyan. Gaz just mentioned there, we can clearly see Ben Lomond, stunning Harrick Alps, not just behind all that list of group. There's Ben Leddy there, and as I keep going, Ben Bollock and Stuka Croyne, and then as I mentioned this morning, it's an Olders range, and in case I haven't already mentioned it, because I can't remember if I have or not, I really honestly can't remember, but that's the summit of Meall nan Tarmachan, which obviously I've camped in here last year. Always want to camp it in the winter time though, because it is just the best to camp on. Anyway, we're going to make tracks, maybe check in a lot later on, but we've got some walking to do. We'll got our spikes on, check in a bit. Gaz has just wrapped his footage up, and I think I might just do the same actually. What a better place than end it here. Laws in the background, we're crunching through the snow. Winter's finally arrived. It has taken a bit of time, you know, it's huffed and puffed a wee bit this year, with a little spell in September even, and a wee spell in October, and then, you know, towards the end of November we are now, we're finally getting our first consistent spell of snow in the mountains. We still don't get it in the towns anymore, and you know, that's for another thing. But anyway, we're just going to get cracking on, looking through the walk down. So for me, Robert, Gaz the Explorer down there, gonna say cheerio, and I'll see you in my next adventures, and I'm pretty sure you'll see Gaz in an upcoming trip as well. Take care everybody, stay safe, see you later.